What I'm going to discuss with you today is politics and law, and I'm going to talk to you a little about the free man position. Now, let's see if you believe how this works. Do you believe that we have members of parliament that represent people, and that we've got a political party elected into power to serve the people and their wishes? Well, I'm about to show you that in actual fact this is not how it works. In actual fact, the parliament that you think of are actually directors of a corporation, and everything to do with politics is actually based on corporations, and I'm going to show you this today because basically, first thing you want to look at is the fact that we have laws, we have acts, statutes and legislation that we have to follow. All of these things are synonymous to each other. Now, an act is a written law passed by a legislative body, and it's primary legislation, which in turn are enacted and enforced by what's called statutory instruments, and this is another law, but these are secondary legislation, a government or executive order of subordinate legislation to delegated powers. So I've given you some definitions, and we know what a law is. A law is a thing done, you know, a deed to the higher power. And what I'm trying to show you today is a different perspective from the normal view of things. And I want you to question everything in depth, question everything I say in depth. Now, you've heard of Dun & Bradstreet, haven't you? It's a website used to, well, it's a corporation used to collect business data to find out if a corporation does good business and check if they're in debt and do they have any county court judgments, you know, CCJs. And basically, if you look on this website, you're going to find something out that's quite shocking. Did you know the following are actually companies or corporations? Now, I looked up on Dun & Bradstreet the other day, and I saw that Member of Parliament is a corporation, Gordon Brown MP is a corporation, David Cameron MP is a corporation, the Labour Party even trade under the name Alistair Darling MP, and he is a diplomat that has diplomatic status. And if someone uses that as their trading name, that means that they can, you know, bend the rules and do things that they want without you knowing about it, because that's what they use as their trading name. Now, all I'm going to say here is nothing will ever change. It will always go in the same direction forever. When someone writes a law and they tell you, do you understand this? Do you understand this law? They're basically telling you to stand under them. So they're basically telling you that you stand beneath them and you're submitting to them, and you're going to pertain to, you know, their laws or statutes or acts, you know, to be appropriate or to be applicable to. That's what pertain means. To their, you know, way of doing things. Now, I bet you think, don't you, that society is broken? Well, part of this talk is to show you that it's actually not. And in courts of justice, have you ever suffered an injustice? Well, this is what's actually going on today. It's all injustice. Now, people within the law sort of group of things use their own language. It's English, but it doesn't sound like English, and it's called legalese. And this is the lingo for law. It's English, but it's not English, if you know what I mean. It's the underlying sub-language that's called legalese. And basically, they use this to deceive you. Now, politics, let's break it down a bit. Pertaining to policy, the administration of the government. So this is a mutual meeting of the minds, that we are all in agreement. Consent, which is permission for something to happen. So they will deliberate, have a long, careful consideration, this meeting of the mind, whether something's going to happen. So yeah, politics, as I say, it's pertaining to policy or administration of the government. Policy itself is a plan or a course of action, as of a government, political party or corporation, a written contract or certificate of insurance. Now, council tax is a statutory instrument, which we went into earlier. That's just the same as a law or act. They are statutes, but the statutory instrument is the secondary law, which is basically enacted on the 1st of April. Statutory instrument. Council tax is a statutory instrument that's enacted on the 1st of April under the primary legislation, the Local Government Finance Act 1992. Now, statutory means created, defined or relating to a statute, required by a statute or conforming to a statute. An instrument is a written legal document such as a contract, lease, deed, will or bond. It's not law. I'm telling you, it's not law. It's just a contract. Where in any of that have I said it's law? I haven't. And these are the actual definitions of these words, Now, let's talk about society and sort of drill down a little bit further. Society, the socially dominant members of a community. A society is a number of persons united together by mutual consent in order to deliberate, determine and act jointly for some common purpose. I emphasise the word common purpose here. Does that ring any bells? Thought so. Now, does this country have a socially dominant element who want to stay socially dominant? It doesn't take a lot to answer that, does it? Now, a contract itself is an agreement between two or more persons that creates or modifies an existing relationship. Now, offer, consideration and acceptance must exist for a contract to be made. Now, do you believe that the UK has a written constitution? Yeah, I thought it did as well. A written list of laws with law numbers and everything that tells us, what is right and what is wrong, and what laws can be not be broken, but what laws are there to follow and not be broken. Well, I'm going to tell you, in actual fact, there's no written constitution in the UK. Now, I'll define a constitution. A constitution is the fundamental rules, written or unwritten. Now, they use the word unwritten there, which is something to think about as well. So, the fundamental rules that are written or unwritten that establishes the character of a government by defining the basic principles to which a society must conform. Paying taxes, etc. Now, here's an important point to make. You were not given a choice if you wanted to join this society. It was made for you at a time you could not express a choice. Now, I'll just leave you with that for today. I look forward to my second presentation on this, and I hope you've learned a lot so far about the actual fact behind politics and law today. Thank you.